Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for tuning into my last video. I got about 35 views and 2 likes. Your support means the world to me, and I am so grateful that so many people watched it, and I can't wait to share more content with you, all in today's video. So let's dive right in. Overnights at Walmart. As I was stocking shelves in the grocery department of Walmart, I couldn't help but notice an elderly man lingering in the aisle next to me. He was staring intensely at a bottle of olive oil, muttering to himself. I walked into the next aisle and started stocking something. I heard the sound of something pouring. I went to go find out what it was. I looked down the aisle as the man grabbed another bottle of olive oil and unscrewed the cap and poured it over his head. My eyes widened in shock as he proclaimed loudly, "I am Jesus." I quickly ran over to stop him, but he held out his hand and said, "Do not be afraid, my child. The olive oil is my anointing." I was speechless, unsure of what to do next. The man stood there, drenched in oil, a serene smile on his face, as customers passing by stared in confusion, some even whispering to each other. I couldn't help but feel a mixture of emotions, bewilderment, concern, a twinge of awe, as I tried to wrap my head around what just happened. The man calmly walked away, leaving a trail of oily footprints behind him. I stood there for a moment, processing the unexpected encounter. It was definitely a strange and surreal moment, one that I would never forget. And as I continued my shift, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had witnessed something truly insane. But there happened to be a nursing home next door, and we had this happen 4 more times before the man never came in again. My elderly neighbor. As I sat in the living room trying to relax after a long day of work, the incessant noise coming from my neighbor's apartment began to grate on my nerves. It was the old lady next door and her son always fighting, and it sounded like furniture being moved around, or something heavy being dropped repeatedly. I tried to drown it out with TV and music, but it always seemed to penetrate through the walls. But then one day I came home from work and the noise had suddenly stopped. I felt a sense of relief wash over me, thinking maybe my neighbors had moved out or something. But the relief quickly turned to unease as a foul, putrid smell started to permeate the hallway. It was so overwhelming I could barely stand it. I hesitantly knocked on the neighbor's door, but there was no answer. Instead, I heard strange scratching noises coming from inside. And as the smell grew stronger, I knew something was very wrong. I called the building manager, who called the police. When they finally broke the door down, what they found inside was beyond horrifying. My neighbor, a sweet old lady who I exchanged pleasantries with in the hall, lay dead on the floor of her bedroom. Her body had been mutilated. Her cats were huddled in the corner looking terrified. It turned out her son, who had been living with her, had snapped, killed her in a fit of rage. He had trapped the poor cats in the room with their deceased owner, leaving them to fend for themselves. They had to resort to eating her to survive. I was left reeling from the realization that the horror had been happening right next door to me without my knowledge. The scratching sounds I heard were the desperate cries for help from those poor animals, and now I couldn't shake the guilt of not doing something sooner. I couldn't help but wonder how many more dark secrets lay behind these closed doors of this building, and I vowed to be more vigilant and attentive to the surroundings from now on, because you never know what horrors may be lurking just a few feet away. Highway of Horror. I was driving down the highway, minding my own business, when I noticed a car behind me. At first, I didn't think anything of it, but then they started tailgating me and honking their horn. I tried to speed up to lose them, but they stayed right on my tail. I started to get a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach. As the car continued to follow me, swerving dangerously close to my car, I could hear the engine revving, and I knew they were trying to run me off the road. They slammed into the back of my car and kept flashing their lights. Panic set in when I realized I needed to do something to get away from this dangerous driver. I quickly took an exit off the highway, hoping to lose them in the twists and turns of side streets. But they were relentless and stayed right on my tail. I went down the maze of side streets until I didn't even know where we had come from. I knew my only chance was to get to safety, so I made a split-second decision to head to the nearest police station. I googled the closest one and followed the GPS to it. Adrenaline pumping, I raced towards the building, the other car still hot on my heels. As I pulled into the parking lot of the police station, I hit my brakes hard, trying to put some distance between me and my pursuer. I jumped out of the car, heart pounding in my chest. I ran towards the entrance of the station, yelling for help. The police were quick to respond. Before I knew it, they had the other driver in custody. Turns out they had a history of road rage. They had been following me with the intent to cause harm. I let out a shaky breath, grateful to be safe and unharmed. It was a terrifying experience, one that I never want to repeat. But I was thankful for the quick thinking and actions of the police that got me out of harm's way. From now on, I will always be on high alert when I'm out on the road. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for future videos. And remember, don't shoot the messenger.